What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-hosts, Carrie.
What's up?
And Terrence.
What's going on?
We normally do like what we've been playing at the top of the show. I think this week we kind of have to start with the news, considering the news that got dropped on Friday. Typically where news stories get dumped so that they don't make a big stink. Did not happen in this situation, obviously, considering the goings-ons at Microsoft. Before we get to that, though, let me just brush through the housekeeping. Don't forget to join our Discord at densepixels.com/fans, where you can chat with other listeners of the show and us, and all kinds of channels we have there, including the Dense Pixels post office, where you can ask us questions that we'll answer on the show every week. If you prefer to get your podcast through YouTube, go to youtube.com/densepixels and subscribe there. We also post any streams that we do on Twitch. They'll show up there later as well. If you prefer your podcast in classic audio format, just search for TNP Studios on any podcast app of your choice, where you'll find us. And you'll also find the other TNP Studio shows, which include the Nerdpocalypse and Black and Black Cinema and the Look Forward Political Podcast. And if you'd like to support TNP Studios and Dense Pixels with zeal, go to densepixels.com/premium. We're just asking you for $5 a month. I don't feel like that's unreasonable. If you enjoy what we're doing, head over there and subscribe. So yeah, Friday afternoon, when video game journalists were winding down their week and kind of getting ready to head into hopefully a lazy weekend, Microsoft comes out, announces that Phil Spencer, the longtime head of Xbox, longtime Xbox employee, longtime Microsoft employee.
I didn't know he was there that long.
Oh yeah, he's been there for 38 years.
Yep.
Which is a very long time. It's because he doesn't look as old as he probably actually is. I think like he's a young, like late 50s, early 60s guy, or young looking one at least. That's probably what fools you. But he's
yeah.
Phil
No,
Spencer.
I guess so. He's 58, and I would say he probably looks like he's 10 years younger than that. So.
One of the few white guys that manages to look younger than
all the graphic tees, all the graphic tees he wears under.
Right, it was
dressed like a 58-year-old.
That's right.
25.
It's like would a 58-year-old would be wearing a Hexen tee? Like probably not. You're right. Actually, no. Actually, a 50-year-old would be the only person wearing a Hexen tee. Actually, if we're being serious. So he's retiring. You can put air quotes around retiring or not. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Perhaps more shocking, Sarah Bond, his second in command, who is the president of Xbox at Microsoft, she's leaving Microsoft in the wake of this news. And being appointed to be the CEO of Microsoft Gaming is a woman by the name of Asha Sharma, who used to work for Instacart, used to work for Meta. Her latest role has been with Microsoft as head of the Core AI team. Now, for those wondering, Core AI is not Copilot. Core AI is like the business deal, is like Azure and the business deals they do with like OpenAI and shit like that. Because a lot of people I saw like, the Copilot person over. It's not that it's better, but it is what it is. And then Matt Booty is basically moving up into Sarah Bond's former role as, I think, president of Xbox, but he's also still going to be doing what he was doing before, which is overseeing all of the Microsoft gaming studios. So this kind of came as a bolt out of the blue. I think the most shocking piece, because there had been rumors that Phil Spencer was thinking about retiring for a while.
Yeah. I mean, again, you're with a single company for almost 40 years. You tend to retire at that point.
You do. I think the more shocking thing is that Sarah Bond, who had very obviously been being presented as kind of like the heir apparent in like when Phil Spencer did decide to step aside, would be leaving. I think most people assumed immediately that it was because she was most likely passed over for that promotion. Again, more on that a little bit because we got some additional reporting today that we did not have when this news first dropped. But yeah, so Phil Spencer put out a statement saying, and according to the statement, he said that he had been thinking about stepping away for some time, and then he went to Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella back in October and said that he thinks he's ready to go, and so they had been moving toward this outcome essentially. Actual events on the ground don't really support that version of events, but again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. He mentions Sarah Bond. He also gives the vote of confidence to Asha Sharma as far as what he thinks she's going to do in this role. Now, her first statement came in the wake of this, and well, actually, let me do Satya Nadella's statement first, just because it definitely wasn't written with ChatGPT. As he said things like Microsoft's been part of gaming, so like Flight Simulator was shipped before Windows even came out, and you can ray trace a line from Microsoft's endeavors in the 90s to the gaming today. And and the best part is 90s was spelled apostrophe 90 apostrophe s, because a human person would definitely spell 90s that way. So yes, again, he just told ChatGPT hey, dictate a statement about these things. And because I heard someone also joke I wonder if he appointed Asha Sharma without consulting ChatGPT. Like I guarantee you he consulted ChatGPT before he made that appointment, because apparently that's how he makes all his decisions, is he consults with AI, because when you're the CEO of a $4 trillion company, that's a real awesome thing to do.
Yeah.
But anyway,
exactly what you want to do is consult the plagiarism hallucinating machine.
Yes. So Asha Sharma, who's going to be the new CEO of Microsoft Gaming, the statement that she gave says that she has 3 commitments that she plans on making important to Xbox going forward. The first is great games. The second is the return of Xbox, whatever the fuck that means. And the third is the future of play. And she also made sure to go out of her way, because she, of course, was the president of an AI division inside of Microsoft, so people would draw a lot of conclusions. So she went out of their way to say that we will not her quote is, as monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Games are and always will be art crafted by humans and created with the most innovative technology provided to us. So I guess let's start with Phil Spencer. Are we shocked that this is happening? And kind of what's his what do we think his legacy is as he leaves Xbox behind here?
It's interesting because am I surprised that Phil Spencer is retiring? Not really, just in so much that he is certainly at an age to retire when you have made as many gobs of money as he has made. So cool. He can retire. I'm sure he'll go on to consult somewhere else in the industry. But again, as I said, 38 years at one company, you're probably going to retire at that point. The only thing that was weird, and I believe one of the linked articles goes into this, is just apparently the announcement about this retirement was supposed to happen today as we're recording this on the 23rd of February. But apparently some things got leaked, and then IGN started reporting it, and then Microsoft had to sort of pivot and put out all of this news in the very weird fashion in which it was put out on Friday afternoon. So yeah, I mean, look, it's okay, he's retiring. I feel like his legacy though is Microsoft hasn't been doing so hot in the console space these last couple generations. They have abandoned exclusivity for many of their major franchises. They have canceled many games and shut down many studios that people were looking forward to and that people liked. And um that's kind of what I feel like I'm going to remember Phil Spencer for, is like just not really being able to deliver the Xbox brand in a meaningful way that would make me, as someone who has a gaming PC, want to get an Xbox. There's no, like, as someone who likes big role-playing games and, you know, narrative focused experiences, like, what is there on Microsoft that is exclusive that I can't find anywhere else? For me, there's nothing. And there hasn't been in a long time. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be like, he ran it into the ground. I just don't think he navigated the last, let's say, 15 years of the console industry in America, especially, with any degree of confidence or real ability.
I was looking up when he became the head of Microsoft.
2014, wasn't it?
It was 2014, March 30th,
Okay,
2014.
so 12
right
years.
when, like, a little bit after the Xbox One became.
Yes, because famously Don Matrick was in charge of
Yeah,
Xbox
like,
and
TV,
right, exactly. And so he, like, Phil Spencer was supposed to be the guy that brought Xbox back to games, essentially.
And he didn't really do that.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking
you could argue he did
2014
for a minute.
When? What minute? Which one?
I would say probably his best moment and the part of his influence where he was probably at, like, the peak of his powers, I think, would probably be the introduction of Game Pass. I think that a lot of us, and us on this podcast, I remember when Game Pass was first announced, we were pretty skeptical. We kind of scratched our heads as like, hey, like, why would you give away your first party games to the subscription service? And then Game Pass became wildly successful.
Yeah.
The problem,
and then it stopped being wildly successful.
Well, the thing is, I don't think that it stopped being successful. I think that it reached the peak,
right?
Of
It
what
plateaued.
it could achieve.
It plateaued,
Right.
And Microsoft, as a company in late stage capitalism, unfortunately requires that the number must continue to go up, and therefore, you know, closure of subsidiary studios and
Right,
stuff like
and
that.
that's the dark side of the Phil Spencer legacy. Is, again,
And when did Game Pass? I don't even remember when Game Pass.
2018, I want to say,
something like that.
In that range, give or take.
8 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds right-ish.
Yeah, Game Pass. I still use it because like, a whole bunch of
Game
shit.
Pass
Really good stuff
launched
comes out of Game Pass.
June 2017.
Okay.
So 9 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's like some of his big things that he did was like Game Pass, which was like, okay, cool, good, generally good, right? Until it wasn't. And then you've got, like, under him, they purchased Mojang. They also purchased Bethesda.
But what have
So,
you done?
huh?
I mean, what Mojang is what?
Minecraft. Yeah.
Okay, and Bethesda.
And of course, that's just going to print money for Microsoft. So good for Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean,
case, I guess.
you could argue he was successful with Minecraft by not fucking with Minecraft. Like,
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing. And ultimately,
and that's just them
it's
getting
kind
money
of this
from something that was already created. So it's
Right.
not like, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with, like, Bethesda, you know, in so much that, like, Bethesda put
When
out
did Skyrim come out? 2011.
2011. Yeah.
So,
We've had new versions of Skyrim on every system known to man since then. But, like, it was Starfield that came out after the Microsoft purchase, and
kind of failed.
I mean, did it fail, or was it just underwhelming? Because for me, I
think it's sold. I think it's sold
How
well enough.
Well, we don't know what the fuck anything sells.
That's
now,
true.
because
We
don't put the
that's
numbers
a
up.
fair point. We don't know.
Which is super fucked up. But I don't
and that's the
think
other thing is I think
it's
he was
definitely not
also
as successful as they wanted it to be.
Well, I think he was
No.
also known as kind of being a kind of let them cook kind of CEO, which and we've seen the opposite, right? Like we've seen a lot of leaders kind of butt their heads into processes, and Phil Spencer, with all the companies that they acquired, was kind of like let them do what they're good at doing, and for good and for ill, by the way, because we saw the other side of that with Redfall as well, where Microsoft really didn't do anything with that game, and then that came out and
I
was a
don't know
fucking
what the fuck happened. Like that
right, it was a
team
fucking
is
mess.
a very good team of people, and
Um,
I don't know. I feel like Microsoft had something to do with that. There's
I
no
don't
way
think so. I
game
that
really
game was already
Redfall.
that game was already halfway baked when
Yeah.
by the time they acquired Bethesda.
What did they put them? Did they make them release it before it was supposed to come out? Because that shit is. I played it. That shit. Is
I think the release of that game was basically like, hey, like we're not throwing any more good money after this, so let's just put it out there, get what we can get.
Prey.
Yeah,
Prey
I mean, keeping
excellent.
in mind that like that's a game that was published by Bethesda, it's not one that was developed by Bethesda. That's an Arcane Studios developed
Correct,
game.
but still under that.
Yeah, I mean, in the same way that like, you know, Indiana Jones technically, I guess, qualifies as a Bethesda title because it's published by them, but that's a Machine Games title.
Yeah.
Starfield, as far as sales is concerned, it's hard to tell because it had a ton of concurrent players, up to 15 million, but like the vast majority of those people were on Game Pass. So the estimated sales for Starfield still pretty fucking solid in the grand scheme of things as far as sales is concerned. Like the game made its money back. The estimated sales in Starfield were like 3 to 5 million, which is still millions of copies. So I think they'll be fucking fine. But yeah, I don't know. It's
well, I think so. The Phil Spencer arc, I feel like he made some good decisions and kind of put Microsoft back on the board as far as chess pieces go in the gaming industry. Game Pass was wildly successful, bought a ton of studios, including a lot of studios that I'm shocked under Microsoft are still around. Like it defies logic to me. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I'm just shocked that a studio like Double Fine still manages to exist. Right in this Microsoft structure.
It's almost like he was like, you're a niche, we know
right, like you guys stay over here
that much, so you
like
just
right, you're hopping on your thing.
We'll keep you alive.
But I think that growth came eventually at a cost when the growth, to Carrie's point, stopped eventually, and then the bloodletting had to begin, and we saw the closure and the layoffs happening that were mandated. And again, not Phil Spencer's fault. Like he didn't make those decisions. Like Microsoft corporate did that, but he was the one at the reins when it happened, and you cannot excuse that part of it as well. So again, kind of a mixed bag. Also, for what it's worth, in this day and age where most fucking CEOs of huge companies are fucking pricks, Phil Spencer for by all accounts one of the genuine good dudes in the industry.
Not an asshole.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
remarkably low bar to clear.
World we live in. So like the last 2 years for Microsoft, it's like you raise Game Pass to $30 and like you close a bunch of studios and like no one wants an Xbox now. So like, what did you? I mean, I understand what he did, but it's kind of like he might be remembered for like the last 3 years, which was terrible, unfortunately.
No, I think ultimately he will be. I mean, because that's kind of where they are, and so now that kind of leads us to Asha Sharma, who is the new CEO of Microsoft Gaming. A lot of people are giving her shit because she's not a gamer, quote unquote. I don't know that that's incredibly important. Actually, it's quite exceptional. Like I think a guy like Phil Spencer, who is very obviously a player of games, is kind of the exception, not the rule. It's not necessarily what you need to be the CEO. I think you definitely need it in like the Matt Booty role, who's working hand in hand with game studios. I think that he needs to understand a little more, but I don't necessarily know that the CEO of Xbox needs to be a fucking hardcore, I'm playing Destiny, 3 nights a week fucking gamer. I think that's a bit ridiculous to have that expectation. My concern obviously comes with the fact that this is someone who is like a true blue believer in the AI space, and she's running Xbox at a time where the CEO of Microsoft is so fucking deep in the tank of AI that, again, like reportedly he literally bounces major decisions that he's going to make off of ChatGPT. Satya Nadella does to just have it weigh in on the take. And this is the guy that's out here at every fucking turn sounding the alarm about, guys, like, we only have a limited time to really, get public buy-in on AI usage before they stop allowing us to, put it in all this fucking bullshit and this, that, or the other thing. And, trying to inject Copilot into every Microsoft product and making it worse. And now he puts the former president of their OpenAI division in charge of Xbox. Call me crazy. I'm not particularly optimistic that that's a great sign for the future of Xbox.
No, I'm not. I want to put my conspiracy theory hat on real quick because Phil Spencer, he retires and Sarah Bond just kind of leaves. Is that what?
Well,
what did they say? Like, I mean, I saw some reporting about like her being hard to work with.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Is she hard to work with, or is she black and a woman in the video game industry?
Thank you. I was about to say they got rid of Sarah Bond. I don't know if they got rid of her, but like, she's black, she's a woman. So what's his name? Sarat Nadal is, he's Indian. So is Asha. I feel this is racism. I'm sorry. I just feel,
I'm not going to say it's not.
I'm in a very shitty mood right now. Not particularly today. I'm just like, in general. I feel like everything is racist. So I feel like there's a bit of racism going on here, and I don't like it.
There was a report that came out from Tom Warren from The Verge today, talking who's Mike. The Verge is like Microsoft guy basically, so he has a lot of connections within Microsoft. According to people that he talked to, a lot of folks kind of saw this coming as far as Sarah Bond goes. She was kind of the one leading the Activision Blizzard King acquisition through the finish line there, which brought Microsoft a lot of let's say undesired scrutiny from the at the time Lina Khan run FTC, which I don't think that they appreciated very much. And they're also kind of hanging the very catastrophic "this is an Xbox" marketing campaign around her neck as well, saying that she was the big driver behind that campaign, which really, more than anything, kind of diluted the Xbox brand.
What do I have an Xbox for?
Exactly. And I think Microsoft and the Xbox team in general kind of looks at that whole campaign as a major black eye.
It's 100% like verified that was her
campaign. She was so eventually apparently the head of marketing for Xbox left several years ago, and so marketing was basically reporting directly to her. So the thought process there is any decisions from like any campaign decisions, stuff like that, needed her express approval to be able to move forward. And apparently she was very gung-ho about kind of the decentralized future of Xbox and getting away from being, Xbox being like a hardware console maker kind of thing, and just Xbox being the everywhere thing, which, as we talked about several times, really just makes the Xbox brand meaningless.
Worthless.
At that point, if you're going to do that. So that's the word on the street from inside Microsoft.
Okay.
I'm not saying you're wrong, Terrence. I
might be wrong. I could be 100% wrong.
Here's the thing. There's probably,
I don't trust white people is what I'm saying.
There's probably a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B at play
probably
here.
a mixture of both, right.
She's probably not being given the wiggle room to make mistakes because of the fact that she is black and a woman. It's interesting. I'm looking at a Kotaku kind of roundup of a lot of the reporting over the last few days, and the fact that Phil Spencer's goodbye email was the only piece of official Xbox literature to even mention Sarah Bond. Matt Booty declined to thank her for her service. She shared her own statement on LinkedIn where she didn't mention Matt Booty. So
there's also the fact that on the morning that this announcement came out, on her LinkedIn page. Now, again, she probably has a team that writes this shit for her. I don't know that
Right.
this is her specifically, but on her LinkedIn page, like literally hours before this happened, she posted a very innocuous post about like, hey, like we have a survey coming out about accessibility in gaming, and we'd love for you to be able, to check it out and offer your thoughts and things of that nature. So like it definitely seems like that at least the people around her were not aware that this was coming.
Yeah.
And both her and Phil Spencer said that they would be staying on for a couple months as like special advisors to help Asha Sharma get in the role. Again, that's something you fucking say. Doesn't mean that could just mean like, hey, they're paying me to be a special advisor for 6 months, but I'm going to go ahead and do that from home and not think about fucking Microsoft again. I think almost I will buy that Phil Spencer is retiring on his own accord. I would not be surprised if Satya Nadella strongly encouraged that now might be a good time for Phil Spencer to retire. And I guarantee you that Sarah Bond was told in no uncertain terms that you know what, I'm not even going to say that she was told like, hey, like you're not going to get this position, and then she decided to leave. She might have been fired, but with a good public imaging around it where she could say, hey, I'm leaving, do my thing, and we'll make sure that we pay you for the next 12 months or whatever in return, so that we don't have to have egg on our face. Because to Terrence's point, the optics of not promoting the black woman lieutenant that has been in that role and been very forward facing for several years at this point would be pretty bad, I feel like, if you did that. So
yeah.
Post-racial America.
So
That's
it's
hilarious.
so it's gonna be real. Like I don't feel the need to wildly speculate on will Microsoft release another console? Like, how does this change their gaming strategy going forward? Because I think we'll see how that plays out. I will say that one thing I would be very concerned about is another bloodletting of studios, because it is very easy, and you see this in sports all the time, for example, right? So you'll see, like, you have a general manager for a club, and he won't trade certain players and things of that nature, and they'll be committed to guys that they drafted and give them a longer leash and stuff like that. And then as soon as that GM gets fired, oftentimes you get a new GM that comes in, doesn't have any personal connections to any of those players, and so immediately you see like a lot of names get traded that you might not expect or release or stuff like that as they build to remake the team. So I wouldn't be surprised to see in the coming months a bunch more studios in Microsoft closing down. And again, it's going to depend what that business shifts. I don't think Satya Nadella would be bringing in Asha Sharma if he thought that her vision of Xbox was going to be just staying the course that they have been on. I would imagine that she is going to have a very different vision for what Xbox should be in the future. And I'm pretty sure Satya Nadella is more than happy to let her realize that vision, just as long as it leverages heavy on AI. So, because that's all he really fucking cares about at the end of the day, it seems like.
Seems to be all anybody cares about at this point. Which, well, we'll see. We'll see if they bring the price of Game Pass back down to $20. Exactly. That's the exact response. Ain't no way. That's not gonna happen.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Like they're treading water now, and who knows?
Yep.
At this point, they say they want to make another console. I don't see, unless she turns something around. I don't see the point.
I don't see the point. I don't
really
think
no
it's going to
point.
happen.
Though I will say, in the current RAM apocalypse situation that we find ourselves in, Microsoft probably better positioned than most other companies to be able to acquire that as needed if they did want to go ahead and make another piece of hardware. So that's coming out, but we'll see. Like I said, exciting times ahead for the Green brand. So speaking of studios being shut down, PlayStation on Thursday, as Terrence said, if they just waited one more fucking day, they could have They could have just kind of brought this out and, and slid by. On Thursday, they announced that they are shutting down Bluepoint Studios, a company that they acquired 5 years ago and did not ship a game after PlayStation acquired them.
Didn't do fucking anything with.
Right. So Bluepoint had been a contract studio that Sony had worked with for a long time. Best known for putting out really good quality remake and ports of existing games. They were responsible for the God of War collection on PS3, the Metal Gear Solid HD collection, the Ico and Shadow of the Colossus collections, the Nathan Drake collection, the Gravity Rush remastered, and probably their most notable achievement, the PS5 Demon Souls remake. That was very well received when that game came out. And so Sony decided, hey, like this is probably a studio that we should have in our stable. They acquired them back in 2021. And then apparently they put them to work on the ill-fated God of War live service game that ended up being canceled. Now, part of that is Bluepoint's doing as well, because I think when Sony acquired them, they did so under the knowledge that Bluepoint didn't just want to be the remake studio, like they wanted to do their own stuff.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a story that stuck with me for a long time. So I remember I was listening to way back in the day, I was listening to a podcast that Bill Simmons did with Jeff Ross, who is best known for being like the Comedy Central roast master guy. And for a while, so there's a time that he was really frustrated with being the fucking roast guy, like because he wanted to do other stuff and he wanted to do other comedy things, and he was just really frustrated. He's like, I remember I talked to Chris Rock one day and I told him this, and he's like, Chris Rock told me, he's like, Jeff, he's like, stay in your lane, man. He's like, stay in your lane. He's like, you have this thing, you do it better than anybody. You are the fucking guy that gets called on for this one specific thing all the time. He's like, why would you want to fuck that up? He's like, just stay in your lane. He's like, and I thought about it. He's like, yeah, it's like, actually it's not a bad thing to be the fucking roast guy. And he continued fucking doing that. Now, I'm not saying that Bluepoint should have been happy per se of just being the fucking remake studio, but I feel like that if you were, you probably wouldn't have gotten closed down last week at the same time, because if there's one thing that's really profitable in games today that large publishers like doing, because it's relatively inexpensive compared to developing a brand new game, it's doing a port / remake of an existing game. Especially Sony fucking loves that shit,
and you do it very well.
Yeah, and you do it better than anybody. Like you're the fucking best at it. So now that's not to excuse the ridiculousness of Sony buying the studio, doing essentially nothing with them, and then laying off 70 people when they decide to shut it down. That's fucking stupid too.
And also, they bought them to do a live service game. Do you think Bluepoint wanted to do a live service game? He's like, yeah, we want to do something different. And Sony's like, okay, cool, you can do something different, but just make sure when you do it, we can make money off of it.
Well, I think that was the deal that was made with them, though, because I think the way the story goes is they were brought in by Santa Monica to help assist with finishing up Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. and Santa Monica apparently was like really lauding their work and the job they did, and like, hey, these guys are really good at this. And so Sony's like, okay, cool, like they have experience with God of War, like they understand like the universe and the technology and the assets that are in there, and okay, cool, this will be easy to put them on this fucking game here. Did Bluepoint want to do a live service game? Probably not. Right. Yeah, but if that's the offer you're given, what are you gonna do? So but it's fucking ridiculous that this studio of all studios,
they did nothing.
I just like what really is like for me like the most insulting thing is that in its most recent earnings results, Sony was up 4% in gaming sales and overall operating income by 2%, and overall group profit is up 22% year over year. So why the fuck are they shutting down studios? And they're just like
25%.
They're like, what, the fucking bullshit you know, statement made by PlayStation Studios boss Herman Hulse, still said, "Well,
Sounds
I
like
know this is hard
I'm
news to
sorry, Herman
hear."
Holt sounds like a fucking Nazi.
He
I
does
mean,
sound like a Nazi.
he is German, so
This
but-
while I know this is hard news to hear, I'm confident in the direction we're headed. Creativity, innovation, and building unforgettable experiences for players remain at the heart of PlayStation Studios. It's like, my brother in Christ, you did not let this studio have any creativity, any innovation, or any opportunity to build an unforgettable experience, and you still shut them down
Yeah,
after they were
didn't
not
do
permitted
anything.
to even ship a single fucking game after you bought them out. Like,
If I was there, like,
meanwhile,
fuck yourself, Herman.
yeah, meanwhile, the world yearns for a Bloodborne remake. I wonder
right?
if the people that did Demon Souls would be pretty good at that
I wonder if they would have
eventually.
been good at it. Just flames on
Yeah.
the side
The
of my
same thing that
face.
fucking like that X by Microsoft did to fucking Tango GameWorks, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
I mean, or at least they put a game out.
They put a game out that was very well
That was
received. They
amazing.
made a great game, and then
Yeah.
they were fucking
You're
shut
like,
down. Late stage capitalism,
silly,
baby. I
man.
fucking hate it here.
It's I saw someone put the meme of the Fred Armisen character from Parks and Rec, like the dictator guy.
Oh yeah.
And it is
Lights-
like bad game, studio closure. He's like good game, studio closure. He's like amazing, outstanding game. He's like hard to believe, but studio closure.
Studio
Like it
closure, yeah.
doesn't
Believe
matter.
it or not, studio
Yeah.
closure.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter what you fucking do. It doesn't matter the quality of your work. You too could possibly be forced to have a bunch of people all of a sudden go without work in this lovely, late stage capitalist AI hellscape that the AAA games publishing industry finds itself in. And I specifically am calling out the AAA games publishing industry because I got to tell you, like even like the indie publishing house labels, like your Devolvers, your Hooded Horses, and stuff like that, they're doing pretty good right now.
Yeah.
They're doing just fine.
Mhm.
So maybe
They put out
maybe
games that people like.
yeah,
without AI
maybe the
shenanigans.
problem's not with game development. Maybe the problem's with AAA game development specifically. So
Yeah, pretty much. Been saying that for a while now.
yep. So I hope that the talented people of that studio obviously land on their feet and stay within the games industry. But yeah, that blows. That's a fucking that's a gut punch, man. Because again, everything they came out with was always critically lauded as being really well put together. And look, it's not. I don't think it's an easy thing to do to take somebody else's work and improve on it while still keeping the feel and the spirit and everything like that of the original game. Again, that Demon Souls remake, I did not play it, but like people that did play Demon Souls when it first came out and then play that remake were just like, this is incredible. Like I can't like it's incredible that they managed to keep the feel but still made a modern game out of it. Like if that game had released brand new and you'd never seen Demon Souls before, you wouldn't know the difference. So EVO, the acquisition of EVO by the Saudi their Saudi buyers at the Qiddiya investment company is now fully complete. But don't worry, because they came out with a statement that said that EVO's traditions, values, and identity will remain unchanged under the new parent company.
So EVO has changed hands twice in what, like 3 years?
Something like
Sony
that.
bought it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And they sold it to the Saudis. Cool.
Yep.
So
they got rid of Bluepoint. And
I'm gonna be fucking real with you boys. When they say that their traditions, values, and identity will remain unchanged under the Saudis, I don't fucking believe them. I know this may come as a shock, but I don't believe them for 1 second. And the biggest thing for me is, and I'm sure both of you are aware of this, is that within the fighting game community, there is a large contingent of openly queer and openly trans individuals.
Hey, I wonder if those folks are going to be invited to the
I
EVO tournament they're
wonder if
planning
they're
on holding in
going to be
2027
anything
in the Middle
Saudi
East.
Arabia.
Is it
Yeah.
actually going to be inside in a Middle East?
Not EVO proper. So I think so they released a schedule. Like they have
EVO Japan and all that other shit. So
well, they according to the schedule they put out over the next 18 months, they have like I think 7 or 8 EVO branded events.
Yeah.
That they have on the calendar, which feels like too much EVO.
Like weird. So what's the special one? Like what's the
well,
one that's
so Vegas, yeah, Vegas will still be
that's
like
that's
the
OG,
EVO,
yeah.
right? But also, like when you do that much EVO, like you kind of lose the
there's no
spectacle of it being.
There's a lot of
it's
tournaments.
Someone made the point online that like the company basically said like 24 hours before announcing this huge swath of events that like our values and identity will remain unchanged, but then like they basically put out a tournament every month of the year, which flies in the face of their traditions, but then also essentially is doing everything that they can to step on smaller grassroots FGC tournaments.
Right.
So
CEO,
they also said they're planning on putting out what Sean McDowell called the Justin Wong Award, which they're also going to award like an EVO Grand Champion prize to like the player who exhibits like the most prowess across all of the game, like multiple fighting games at EVO, which is like that's not really what people are signing up to watch. Like I'm not looking to watch Justin Wong finish anywhere from 10th to 25th in every game. Like I'm looking to see I'm looking to see the best Street Fighter player and the best Tekken player and the best Guilty Gear player and all that jazz. Like no, like I like watching the specialists. That's all they play and that's all they fucking trade for, because those guys are generally going to be the best. So that doesn't make any fucking sense. And yeah, a lot of prominent players in the scene are making their voices heard, many of which have said that they are pledging not to attend any EVO events.
Yeah.
In the wake of this, in the wake of the
Sonic Fox going to be in any of them? Like,
I've not heard from him. I think the most prolific player that I think has gone on record is Sajam. I don't know who that is.
I know who he is. He's got a YouTube page. White dude. He's pretty popular. Yeah, he announces a lot of games actually.
Yeah, and he said
so for him to not be there, like okay,
he said he's not going. I mean, Terrence, I think in the past you talked about the fact that like Max is like
Max was like, I think I'm good. I
can commentate on my channel at home. Like I don't need to be there necessarily to experience it. So
that's up, man.
It's and again, like EVO is something that it's young enough that those of us that have been paying attention to it for a long time can track its rise. Truly a grassroots endeavor when it first started. That
2004,
yeah, something like that. And that has grown, and for the first 18 years essentially grown organically. And made
and became an arcade when it first
started. Right, like it made and became this like fucking spectacle event that was aired on ESPN at at one point.
Like the rise is fucking awesome, but like I don't to be sold to the I don't know, man. It's just this feels wrong. It just feels wrong. Much like when WWE gets sold to the Saudis in the next 3 years, it's gonna feel. Oh man.
So
but, I wonder if City of the Wolves is going to be like one of the top 3 games.
I'm sorry. The fact that it's even one of the games featured at EVO this year tells you all you need to know. Because
exactly,
because again, like that game is sauceless, as the kids say, in terms of the scene, and in no normal sane world would that be one of the featured games at EVO. But again, because it's owned by a Saudi company, which means it's really owned by the Saudi government, we got to make sure we promote our game that we that
I need to see this EVO schedule. How many
there's like one a month.
What's the fucking point?
It's to step on the rest of the community. It
That's
is
so
to
silly,
try
man.
and monopolize the fighting. Look, Terrence, I don't even fucking play fighting games, and I can tell you what they're fucking doing. They are trying to completely corner the market. They are trying to ensure that if people are going to a fighting game event, that it has to be a fucking EVO event.
Yeah,
They're going to
fuck
continue
your
to scale this
locals,
down.
fuck Combo
Fuck your
Breaker.
locals. Fuck
Yeah.
any grassroots events. Fuck anything else. It's all going to be EVO now.
Yeah, fuck CPT. Like, no, like it's
Right.
yeah. So
We'll see how that works out.
We
if
will.
everyone just doesn't come.
That's the
Like
thing.
if all the
is,
top
like,
fucking people just be like, no, we're good. Who you gonna get?
right.
You need the players, and if the players don't want to come, I know. Like, is the payout gonna be more?
Well, money's not the problem. It's like that's
No, I know
that's
money's
the
not
thing.
the problem. What I'm asking is, are
Yeah.
the Saudis just gonna be throwing like a
Right.
I
Like, that's
I
the
am
thing.
amount of money at
sure.
the winners?
I am sure
for
that
them to
is
come.
going to be part of it.
Let's see who betrays their values for the money. I mean,
Well,
the
and
FTC
again,
is very inclusive.
to some extent, like I do also feel for the players because again, like there is no other tournament that unifies that many
Mhm.
fighting game communities
Yeah.
into one massive event the way that EVO does. Because again, Capcom, CPT is Street Fighter specific. Terrence, you know more about Combo Breaker than I do, but I would imagine that's more narrow in scope than EVO is, in terms of like the games that are
like CEO, Combo Breaker. Like these, like EVO is the biggest, of course, but like a lot of these other tournaments, they're not really small. They fill out venues. So we'll see. Like I watch all of them. I just want to see how this works. I just want to see who's going to be in.
Yep.
Who decides whether they're going to go or not in the next couple of years.
So. We'll find out real quick as far as some of this in about 6 months' time. So we'll see what happens there. It's right closer than you think. Tencent has closed Timmy Montreal, one of their Western-based studios, who were most known for working on Pokemon Unite and Call of Duty Mobile. Apparently, this is known that this was coming, but still quite a few jobs from a studio that's only 5 years old. I will say that this head of the studio, did happen to be one of the dudes that was fired for Ubisoft for being a fucking sex pest. So not too sad to see that guy specifically go. But yeah,
how difficult is it not to? I don't. You know what? Never mind. I don't want it. You just don't understand how difficult it is to not be a sex pest.
Yeah.
Don't get it. Especially all of the shit that we've learned from the Epstein files. But that's a different show. We can move on. Jesus Christ.
And finally, in a story that's sure to make Carrie very excited on this week's show. So Guy Mowbray is one of the commentators in EA Sports FC, nay FIFA, that EA Sports puts out every year, their soccer game. Guy Mowbray is a commentator on the BBC's Match of the Day, which is their big soccer like wraparound show that they do every week. And he explained that when you're commentating for a sports game, it's pretty tough because I'm basically in the voice studio every week from November through July, recording lines of dialogue for the game and all this other stuff.
And you have to hope that you don't get sick. You have to hope that you don't blow your voice out. Like, sports commentating, and you have a specific broadcast voice. And I know this because my dad was a sportscaster for 40 something years. So I know what his on-air voice sounds like, and I know what his voice sounds like when I'm in trouble, and they are two very different voices.
And he and so Mowbray talks about, he's like, not only do you record all these like contextual lines of dialogue, he's like, but even recording the players' names is tough because you have to record each name several times because you have to have just like your normal saying the guy's name, and you got to have a different intonation for like when something exciting they're doing is happening or things of that nature. He's like, but the good news is that he's like, EA is willing to collaborate with me, and I let them use an AI double to replicate my voice to record a lot of these player names for me, so that I don't have to sit here and record all these names over and over again.
So I don't love this, but when it comes to AI usage, I will take this over a lot of other things. And the reason why is because this guy agreed to do it. And this guy said, yeah, like you can do this for, let's say 3 or 4 different variations of 20,000 plus player names in this game so that he can presumably save his voice for other work. In the same way that, I don't mind Square Enix having used AI to help animators match lip movements to a dozen different languages. Um, I feel like if there's a scenario for appropriate AI usage, this is certainly one of those scenarios because this guy can basically say, okay, cool, I will go ahead and, sign of a form and agree to have this particular AI program learn the way that I speak and pronounce things in order to make all of these voice lines happen. I mean, I, as someone who just does a podcast once a week and also does a lot of recording vocals for my different bands, like vocal health is something that, like, if you're not taking care of yourself, you will lose the ability to do it. And for a broadcaster, if he can't fucking speak at length the way that he needs to, then he's not going to have a job. So, again, I don't really love most uses of AI, but if this is how this is going to be used, I feel like this is one of the sort of few acceptable uses of training a specific AI on a specific person's voice that they agree to have used in this context for the sake of not having to record tens of thousands of
That's a
different
lot.
player names,
I might do the same shit. I'm like, you know what? The 20,000 names, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, you go ahead.
So
that is a very nuanced take. I was not expecting you to be so acceptable of this. I'm not as acceptable with this. EA is one of the biggest fucking game publishers on the planet. FIFA is one of the biggest games that make money for them. Also, they have multiple commentary teams that do commentary for FIFA. Not only in English language, but in other languages, obviously, as well.
Are they using it?
Probably. I mean, I would imagine that. I would imagine if it's happening here, it's happening across other commentary teams and things of that nature as well. You don't have to have Guy Mowbray record the name of every single fucking player in the game. Like you could have a commentator team for, the big leagues, like England, Italy, France, Germany, that kind of stuff, and then you could have other commentators record stuff for the other leagues and things like that as well. I just feel like, again, there's solutions to this that don't require the use of generative AI to make these things. I understand what you're saying, that like the the broadcaster signing off on it, but then where does that end? You know what I mean? Oh, Guy, don't worry. Like, we got you on recording from last year already.
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's sort of where the line is,
Right.
right? Is it's like it depends on what Mowbray has agreed to, like what was in the contract. So that's kind of it. As far as, my sort of view on this, if it is trained solely on his voice and his performances from past EA sports titles with his full knowledge and agreeance to do it for the sake of him not having to spend weeks after weeks after weeks in the booth doing this stuff, so that he can presumably do something else with his life in that period of time, for the more, again, the sort of like nitty gritty little things that all still have to be done, like a billion fucking player names, right? Now, if they come back and they go, hey, next year we're just doing the whole thing AI based on past stuff, then it's like, cool, fuck you at that point. But if this is like him doing, let's call it 70% of the work, and then that gap is made up by an AI that he agreed to have used, then again, I don't love it, but like I don't think it's not like it's fucking Chat GPT, right? It's not like,
Mhm.
I still don't love any use of generative AI, but in terms of like individual specific use cases, this is one that I just assuming that like he's on board, he knows full well what he signed off on and that he's being properly compensated for like what this machine is doing based on his past work, then okay, sure. Like,
So my question then I guess would be, and again, like, I don't think anyone should be like a fucking hard line or any of this stuff. Again, there's nuance and there's there's shades of gray. I think trying to illustrate any of this stuff in black and white is a fucking fool's errand. But how does that differ then from any of the voice actors who provided voices for like arc raiders, for example, who went in, recorded some dialogue, but also were forced to say like, hey, like contingent on us hiring you is you acknowledging that you're going to let us gen AI your voice to create additional dialogue for stuff that we put in the game later because we don't want to bring you back into the recording studio to have to do this.
yeah, it's again, I think
And I don't think, to be clear, I don't think those are exactly the same thing, but
no,
it is swimming in the same pool.
it's in the same zip code, right?
Right.
I feel like because both Arc Raiders and the finals were both
Mhm.
done by Embark Studios, and they both kind of did the same thing with AI voices, and I think it's in these cases, yes, you do have people who came in, recorded a handful of voice lines enough to train a fucking like LLM to regurgitate their specific speech patterns and stuff like that. But that to me feels more taking advantage of those voice actors
Mhm.
because it's doing the most of the work, right?
Mhm.
And this case with EA, to me at least based on the article linked, seems like it is sort of making up that gap of the kind of busy work that has to be done when it comes to player names and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And ultimately it's still like they're still promoting him as the guy, right? It's still, hey, here's Mowbray. Whereas with these voice actors for Arc Raiders and the finals, it's almost as if Embark just wants to get enough data in order to not have to hire real people moving forward. And that's what I think the kind of difference is Embark Studios is kind of doing the bare minimum in terms of getting real people involved so that they can have the AI do the most of the work. Whereas in this case with EA, this is still a human doing the vast majority of the actual voice work. And it's just like stuff like player names that take a long time, but still have to be done. So that's where the scales are for me.
My takeaway is I hope you read the fine print.
Yeah, I hope you read the fine
That's
print
it.
too.
That's it.
Yeah.
God,
'Cause,
wouldn't
like,
wouldn't
they
wouldn't
got
life
'em.
be wouldn't life be blissful if we didn't have to navigate all these fucking ethical landmines and stuff like that? And wouldn't it be awesome if we just didn't give a shit about any of this stuff? How much easier would our lives be if we could just be fucking soulless,
Blissfully
uncaring
ignorant.
consumers of art? So that will do it for the news. I only had one game to talk about this week. As I mentioned on the show last week, I am now fully in my Souls renaissance. And I started playing the original Dark Souls, a game that is hard. In case anyone was not
It's
aware,
not.
my Elden Ring experience and my No Rest for the Wicked play have done nothing to really smooth things over. Except for give me the perseverance of will to understand a little bit more about like what I'm doing wrong and what I could do better on my next attempt with a lot of these bosses and stuff like that. I will say, so it's interesting having played Elden Ring as my first From game and then going back to one of the original Souls titles.
Mhm.
Not the first, but certainly
second
one
one.
of the first ones. One of the things that Elden Ring did that really helps get people into this genre more than the other games did in the past is they got rid of a lot of the needless friction, and probably the area where this is most present in Elden Ring is the lack of runbacks before bosses. So in Elden Ring, they had this gimmick outside of the boss rooms called a Stake of America, which if you died to the boss, it would respawn you right outside of the boss door so that you could immediately just go back in and try again. Whereas in the original games, when you die, it spawns you at the last bonfire that you touched, which means that every time you die at a boss, you have to do a 1 to 5 minute run back to get back to where the boss room was. Usually going through at least a handful of enemies as well that you have to get through on your way there, so that you can try the boss again. And that's a little annoying, I gotta say. Like it's a bit frustrating to have to
like
fucking
Hollow
do.
Knight.
Yeah, to fucking have to do that.
I got Dark Souls, the first one. I got so good at that game. I did speed runs on it. I could beat it in under like 7 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first playthrough was like 25 because I game beat the shit out of me. But then you learn how to beat every enemy. You can do it with very little gear. You could actually become incredibly good at that game to the point where you could just run through it easily. Yeah, they're hard. They're very difficult games.
Yep.
But they're satisfying when you're able to.
They really are. Like I said, I've the where I left off, where I last played I'm at the Capra Demon fight. So I definitely have
Where's that at? Is that on
that is
by the steps?
It's on the way to Blighttown, basically. And so the fights that I have overcome have been pretty satisfying. I mean, like I said, the bell gargoyles definitely took me a good handful of attempts to get past. I found the key to success with these games so far, and I kind of do the same with Elden Ring, is you can't just hit your head against the wall. Like if I'm at a boss fight and it's just not. And what's funny about this is, and I imagine a lot of people have the same experience as me. The first time you fight a boss is generally one of your better times fighting the boss because you're too stupid to know what you're doing wrong, and so you just play naturally.
That happens a lot,
right? And then
it's fucking weird. Then you die,
right, and then you do decent.
The next 10 times, you're like,
right?
What the fuck? I did so well the first time.
Right, and go figure. Like with the bell gargoyles, like my problem was I could never get the first gargoyle down before the second one would come in and join the fight and start fucking shit up. Literally the first time battling them that I beat the first gargoyle just at all, that was the time I won the fight, because once you get the first one out of there, like the second one is so ridiculously easy it's not funny. So yeah, that's been our experience so far. But I'm having a good time. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is that I'm having fun. I'm not deterred. The Capra Demon is bullshit because he does fucking, like, as soon as you jump in the boss door, like he leaps at you with like a heavy attack that takes half your health if you don't dodge it. Plus there's like 2 of the dogs in there as well that you have to fucking deal with. So that part, that's a bit of bullshit, but we're getting there.
And if I remember correctly, that's not exactly a big arena to fight him in either.
No, it's like you're in an alley,
enclosed alley with some steps on it. Like
I
clearly remember that fucking fight. Yeah.
Carrie, you're not along with some knowledge. What is your experience with
my experience is watching my ex-husband play a lot of that game.
There you go. I was about to say, you don't strike me as a Souls
no,
Souls
I'm not.
player. Yeah.
I'm not. No. The guitarist in my Hades band, Mark, he's a big time Souls dude.
Yeah.
He's put out multiple like Soulsborne albums. What did he do? He did a Dark Souls album, yeah. Was it a Dark Souls album? No, that's got he did a Bloodborne concept album that won him album of the year at VGM Con a couple years ago. Cool. Yeah, so he's very into it. He was trying, before we settled on Hades, actually, he was like, we should do this as like an Elden Ring project. And I was like, what if we did Hades Now I'm playing a show with Darren
But I
Corbin.
say, I think you made the
I
correct
think
the correct
I
decision.
had the right brain cell that day.
I would agree with you in that regard. So yeah, having a good time with that. I'm still playing Mugenics, which has been also fun and again revealing just insane amounts of content inside of it. Now I now have abilities that I can identify the libido of the cats to whether or not they'll want to fornicate
It's
or not.
funny, Mugenics. Speaking of Mugenics and speaking of Hades, Darren Corb was in my house this past weekend and said many, many positive things about Mugenics.
Yeah.
Just that's if you want to know what that dude's up to, he's playing Mugenics.
Terrence, what are you messing with right now?
The newest game that came out on Game Pass was Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora.
Mhm.
That's actually
I've heard that's decent.
That's a very good Far Cry game.
Okay.
It's really good. I'm fucking shocked. It's made by Massive. They do
Mhm.
pretty good work. It's an Ubisoft game, so you know you're running around a very large world. You get to fly around it. It's very good. I'm shocked. I've put like 10 hours into it already. It's a very fun game. And they added a third person view to it last month. And you'd be surprised how different a first person game feels when you put it in third person.
Oh,
It feels like a completely
as
different
someone
game.
who plays anytime they play a Bethesda RPG, plays it in third person, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels totally different. Like
I cannot do first person melee combat. Like I just cannot wrap my brain around what I need to do.
Well, there's no melee combat in that in Avatar. It's bow and arrows. You have this sling that throws bombs. You can use the machine gun that the sky people use, like the humans use. It's weird.
Mhm.
The sense of scale in that game is a little off because you're like a 10-foot blue cat. Or maybe the weapons, maybe the guns are used for the people that go inside the pods that come back as the knobs. I don't know how the fuck this shit works.
Terrence, I have not seen a solitary second of the
You've
Avatar
never seen
movies.
any of Avatar?
No.
Not even the first one? Wow.
It when those came out, I was just like, man, I was like, I do like James Cameron. This looks completely disinteresting to me.
It's good to watch in the theater with the 3D. After that, you don't need to watch it again.
Yeah.
I saw the second one and I'm like, I think I'm good. I just like this is not his best work. Like visually,
Not according to him.
yeah, I don't know what he got going on. Visually, like it's amazing, right? The visual effects are stunning, but like the story, it's Fern Gully. It's a little weird that like this giant blue cats. Basically it's all about how humans destroy the earth.
Of course,
how humans just go from place to place and destroy shit and fuck with the natives. That's literally all the story is about. I don't know why you need 5 of those or 4, however many he's directed, to tell the story, but you know, I feel like I have way more fun with the game than the movies. And then apparently the DLC is very good, which I'm not going to buy because it's like $20. No, thank you. But that's pretty much it. That's all I've been playing.
Okay. Carrie, anything new from you, or
I've been in music mode the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I had like 2 albums to finish. So I've spent a lot of time over the last week tracking music instead of playing video games. But on that note, on March 7th, Street Fighter album that I've been producing for my net label Game Grooves will release for the 35th anniversary of Street Fighter 2. So for that release, I arranged and performed Zangief's theme, as well as the credits, the staff roll. So what's fun about that is that is an all, or I should say women-led. We have some gender fluid and non-binary individuals on this release as well, but it's otherwise all women. Because March is Women's History Month, because Yoko Shimomura is one of the greatest composers all time, and she's also a woman, and because women in video game music do not get their flowers nearly enough. So I got mad a few months ago, and I decided I was going to do something about it. So I did a women-focused Street Fighter 2 project. So I've heard all the pre-masters. It's sounding really, really good. So more details on that will be posted in our Discord once I have it. And then my Hades band Premium Vintage, we have an EP coming out on the 9th. It'll be called Neptunalia, and might as well have called it the fucking Asphodel EP, because we're finally doing Asphodel songs. We didn't have any. So three of the 6 songs are Asphodel. So um it also has our longest song to date. We've done a 8-minute 37-second version of River of Flame. So if you like prog metal and or you like Hades, please buy my band's shit.
I mean, I do like prog metal by way of Hades. So,
That's
actually,
kinda
no,
how I like it.
that's not true. I also really like Tool. So actually, I could probably say that I actually like prog metal quite a bit. So fair enough. By the way, apparently, so the Virtual Boy shit came out for the Switch this week.
Yep.
Apparently, if you just have the Switch by itself and you have a copy of Tool's 10,000 Days album, you can use the little iGoogles that are on the flip up part of that album to play Virtual Boy games if you want to. I don't know why someone had the idea to test that, but it works.
That's bizarre.
There's a certain intersectionality between Virtual Boy dorks and Tool dorks, so doesn't entirely surprise me.
Yep. So there's that. Like I followed Danny O'Dwyer on Blue Sky, and he caught wind of someone posting. He's like, "Fuck!" He's like, "I have this album. I'm gonna see if this works." She's like, "Oh my god, it does!" Like I can't believe it. Incredible. Also incredible when we get questions from our listeners that they ask us on the show in Discord by going to densepixels.com/fans in a segment we call the post office. We are backed up. The mail has not been being delivered. So we're going to get caught up this week, starting with Film Wanderer, who asks, will WWE eventually have their version of a market collapse, and will it be coming soon?
Yes.
Nah, they're too big to fail. They're too big to fail.
I'm not saying too big to fail, but I will say that the move to put Raw on Netflix, I think, has basically sort of ensured that it's unlikely that they're going to fail or really experience a complete market collapse. Because at this point, it's like, do you know anybody who doesn't have Netflix in some capacity? Like,
I don't have Netflix.
You guys don't have Netflix?
I don't.
Oh,
no.
Okay. I feel like
we got it back for a month, and my wife watched every. So we got it back for a month so she could watch the Stranger Things final season. And then while we had it, she watched literally every season of the Great British Baking Show that they have on there.
Okay, I mean, like, valid, extremely valid. Big fan of GBB.
Paul Hollywood rocks. I like that show way more than I ever thought I would.
Oh man, dude, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, but no, I think it's too popular. It's too fucking popular.
I don't think it's as popular as I think it is. I mean, it is. The people are paying astronomical amounts of money to go to fucking WrestleMania, but the ratings for Raw on Netflix, sometimes they can't get 2 million viewers.
Yeah, but the thing is that Netflix already is giving them $5 billion.
No, they got the money, and I think I don't think how long is the
10 years?
Deal? 10 years. I don't think they're going to finish the 10 years.
You don't think so?
Nope. I think Netflix is regretting, because again, 2 million viewers. It's like he said, "Oh, we can get to 44 million or 140 billion people." Or
I forgot how many. Because it's worldwide. Is that 2 million all at once,
under
or are
2
you
million
getting
in the States? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is internationally. And I guess my question is, like, are we counting that like over the course of a week, or like all at once, or Monday nights?
They give the ratings the next week.
Right,
so like
but
Monday, and then like the next week they'll say, "Oh, we got such and such. We got like 1.2 million."
Oh, they're talking about that on the air
over the course of a week?
No, not them. Like people.
Oh, okay. So Netflix is coming out and saying this is our these are watch.
And I don't think I feel like Netflix is like, we should be getting like triple that.
Probably.
Because when they came out, the first episode was like 5 million people, like 5-6 million people, and then it's progressively gotten worse.
Here's the other problem though, is that like I know, like if a gun to my head, if you asked me, someone who has been checked out for almost a year at this point on WWE, where to watch each WWE bit of programming, I couldn't tell you. Like I can tell you Raw's on Netflix. I can tell you that I think SmackDown is back on USA, right?
SmackDown's on USA, and
No
Premium
where
Live
NXT
Events.
is.
I have no idea where NXT is.
And aren't the Premium Live Events on like ESPN?
They're on
now or
ESPN.
something?
Yeah.
In which, if you have ESPN on cable, you
Right.
still have to pay like $30 to get the ESPN app.
Yeah, because it's on the
Of course.
ESPN Plus app. So
Right.
I just I have
Yeah.
that bundled with Hulu and Disney Plus, so I just
Right.
automatically get that.
Right, but that is too much to ask.
Yeah.
Oh,
your
yeah.
fans.
100%.
The funny thing
to
about
invest in, yeah,
all of their programming is all of it. SmackDown, Raw. I don't know what the fuck you watch NXT. You can watch SmackDown and Raw on Netflix if you're not in the States.
NXT is
They're both.
also on USA and Sci-Fi.
Still. So again, what the fuck?
what is it? ECW all of a sudden?
Yeah, and so that's a lot of money that they've been given for Netflix, and I think Netflix is kind of like, yeah, what the fuck are we paying for? Because people aren't watching. I mean, people are watching, but like, first of all,
No, sorry,
you haven't watched in
CW.
a year. The product fucking sucks. It's really bad at this point. And then like they're gonna have WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia next year. What the fuck?
Are they? Has that
Oh
already?
yeah,
Is it
no, that's
yeah,
Oh,
it's
I didn't
2027.
realize that had already
Yeah, it's
been
gonna be in
announced.
Saudi Arabia. I think the Royal Rumble was in Saudi Arabia this year.
It was, yeah.
Okay, all right, man. And do you know how much these WrestleMania tickets cost?
Oh, I've heard.
I mean,
Thousands.
they knocked off 25%, and they're still like the super tickets are still $30,000.
Well, and now like you're posting
crazy.
these stories how they're like blacking out local.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that's insane to me. Is the extent of the local blackout feels
literally the worst, most draconic,
fucking WWE.
most outdated parts of large sports. And WWE's like, oh,
fucking local blackouts, man.
We got to be part of that.
It doesn't make any sense. Like they're blacking out Elimination Chamber this weekend in Chicago. What the fuck? That's not WrestleMania.
Yeah, but tickets are soft, so you gotta motivate people to get into the arena.
I'm not paying $10,000 to go see your shitty. Again, it's.
I guess you ain't watching it then.
I see it coming. I mean, I know you're saying it's too big to fail, but like, there's gonna be a revolt soon.
No, there is going to start to be a fucking blowback for sure.
Yeah, because it's just you're paying a lot more money for a lesser product.
I'm gonna look at what's the cheapest fucking ticket for Elimination Chamber right now. I just want to.
But yeah, I see it coming. I don't know when, but yeah, I definitely see
cheapest. Cheapest ticket for Elimination Chamber, $261.
Wow,
and that's like way the
nosebleed seat.
Way the fuck
exactly,
300 levels,
and that's not WrestleMania.
No,
that's
fucking
Elimination.
That's a bog standard pay-per-view. Not a major, as I'm fond of calling
them. So. Most tickets are 500 plus.
Oh my god!
Look, you could not convince me to ever spend that much money on fucking.
How much you? So you're of the three of us, you're the one that's most recently been to a wrestling live event. How much were your Raw tickets when you went?
That's a good question. I don't know. I want to say they were maybe like $70.
Okay, that's
like
Vince
McMahon isn't a boring human being, right? But at least he was like, I want families to come to my shows.
Because he understands that's how you perpetrate the products long term.
So
start them while they're young.
This new fucking corporation, the TKO, they're like, they were like, he didn't capitalize on what he had, and they're like, we're gonna just sell.
Well, but look at
astronomical.
Look at what TKO and Endeavor's people come from. Though they come from the world of prize fighting, where tickets have been stupid for the longest time.
The prize fights, you get like the super prize fights, you get one or two a year. So people don't see these people fight. You don't do it every fucking month. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but again, that's their mindset though. Is that like, hey, like fucking when we have these boxing matches, like when fucking Floyd Mayweather's illiterate ass fights, like we can charge like tens of thousands of dollars for a seat,
hundreds of millions of dollars in one fight, which is fucking crazy.
Oh, you excited for Mayweather Pacquiao 2? Electric Boogaloo coming up next year apparently.
40. How old is Pacquiao? 50 now?
Yeah. Again, this is 10 years after they initially fought when they were both past their prime.
Right. It's just silly. So,
Right.
I don't know, man. I just
All right, I can no longer check how much I spent
Okay.
on.
So,
raw
so,
figures. But
70
it
sounds
wasn't. It
rightish.
was sub 3 figures. I know that much because
Okay.
I wouldn't have gone if it was 100 plus.
right.
Like,
Where were you sitting?
I mean, we were up, but like not like nosebleeds, like halfway up.
And how long
Middle
was that?
levels. Yeah.
Huh?
When was that? How long ago was that?
April 2025. So
Probably like double the price now.
probably.
They
I would
probably
have
are.
to see like what
Shenanigans.
the, because funny enough, like they're literally bringing Raw. Are they doing Raw and SmackDown? Raw and because it's in Sacramento, which is where I saw. Yeah, so they're doing SmackDown in San Jose and then Raw in Sacramento. So just the minimum currently 149.20.
Why?
Tariffs.
Again, and it's not even
Now here's the thing, they're also not opening the upper deck this time, which is curious.
That tells you a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
already
So
like certain
it's
sectors to
only
begin with.
it's only the 100 level that's open. So I sat in the 200 level last year and it was significantly less than that. So
Guess they're
200
not
level is
anticipating
not open.
the same level of demand then.
I'm saying,
Curious.
man. That's what I'm saying. Like they got all that money from these deals they're making, but like you still need a fucking customer base. Yeah, you got all that money, but like if you don't have anybody watching your product, what's the fucking point?
Interesting. Okay.
I am upset you both either didn't hear or no sold the joke that I made. Very, very upset
Huh?
about that.
No, I didn't hear.
When Terrence is like, how could tickets double in the year? I was like, tariffs.
Oh, tariffs. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm no stranger to spending an exorbitant amount on things that I want to see, but I'm not spending that much. I just bought Backstreet Boys tickets for Vegas this summer, lads. Like, you gotta.
They all in their 50s now.
Not all of them.
Yeah, some of them. JC Chazé, is he?
JC Chazé is in sync, so fucking
whatever.
Hold
They're
up.
all the same. All those white boys look the same.
They're not all white.
I forget which one is which.
Kevin Richardson is the oldest member of the Backstreet Boys, and he is 54, and he looks good as hell. Huh?
Nick Lachey, is he?
He was at 98 degrees. He's
98
still 98
degrees.
I saw 98 degrees a few months ago.
The RC Cola of the boy bands from the
No, here's look.
My sister was a 98 degrees fan.
I had the first two 98 degrees CDs.
That was the one that
I had a blast seeing 98 degrees last year. You know who I'm seing this weekend? This is not a joke. I am seeing fucking O-Town this weekend with LFO.
I like when LFO's the part that gets me.
Keeping in mind, there's only one member of LFO still alive because all three of the others passed away from various cancers over the last
incredible.
Decade and a half.
Terrence, LFO sang the "Steal My Sunshine" song. That's the only thing.
No, that's not.
That's not them.
No,
that's
"Steal My Sunshine" was by Len. So
LFO was
LFO
I know
is
that song.
Summer Girls.
I think it's
I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch.
That's right.
Take away I had one wish. I know that song.
And you know they had a couple other.
That's the only song I know from them.
Yeah, Summer Girls is the one everybody knows. It was number 3 on.
Okay, Nick Carter, A.G. Okay, these are the Backstreet Boys. Kevin Brown, there you go.
Yes, NSYNC was where you had JC Chazé and Justin Timberlake, and JC was always the better vocalist in NSYNC, but somehow didn't manage to land a solo career. That's fine. I'm not bitter about that at all. But I've been saying for the last 3 years that I just need to have a podcast where I take a hard examination of a boy band song on like a music theory level and break down why it's good or why it's not good. And I feel like I would be good at this, and I don't know who on earth I could get to do it with me, but I would like to do it.
Terrence, do you happen to know what Lance Bass's most notable thing that he did after NSYNC was? Arguably,
Lance Bass.
Lance Bass
is gay.
No,
I mean, he did do
that. I'm talking about as a performer. Do you know what he's probably best known for outside of being in NSYNC?
Dancing with the Stars.
No.
Did he do that? I don't know. I don't.
He was in
no, I have no
Hairspray
idea.
on Broadway. He was Corny Collins on Broadway. But no, what Brad is explicitly referring to here is the fact that Lance Bass was the original voice actor for Sephiroth, as in the original Kingdom Hearts game. They decided that they were going to hire a lot of known celebrities at the time to voice many of the characters from the Final Fantasy end. And because most of the characters at that time had not been voiced before. So Lance Bass is the original voice of Sephiroth, which I find absolutely hilarious. And if I ever have the opportunity to not have him sign a copy of Kingdom Hearts, but to have him sign a copy of Final Fantasy VII for the original PlayStation 1, you better believe I'm going to do it. I think it would be the funniest fucking thing, and it would make so many Final Fantasy fans unbelievably angry. Look, Lance was always my favorite. I met him at a Dave & Buster's in 2001. 2000. It was like 2 weeks after he was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And Lance, he was, again, Dave & Buster's in Rockville at White Flint Mall, rest in pieces. And NSYNC had been hired to do like a mitzvah nearby for some very wealthy Rockville lawyer. And so they, I guess, were killing time. But yes, he was playing skee ball at the Dave & Buster's. And I have an autograph on the back of one of my dad's business cards. Again, look, I am a fucking sommelier of Y2K era boy bands. And even before that, because I can talk at length about New Kids on the Block, even though they were before my time.
I remember the New Kid on. I used to be at the babysitter's house, and New Kids on the Block used to come on constantly.
You like Step by Step? Or do you like
more of a Right Stuff guy?
More of a Right Stuff guy?
No, thank you.
No?
Wasn't a huge New Kids on the Block fan.
I feel like when it comes to New Kids on the Block, people tend to be thrown by the fact that Donnie Wahlberg is a new kid. You know, Mark Wahlberg was originally supposed to be a new kid, and he was replaced by Joey McIntyre because he couldn't sing. And then he decided to go on and be Marky Mark. Marky Mark in the Funky Bunch. Yeah, look, he did okay for himself, not musically. Though I do have Good Vibrations.
I'm about to say Good Vibrations is a bop. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what other song he has.
He doesn't have any other.
You don't need any other songs, Aaron. You don't need any other ones. That. That's all you need.
Fucking Jesus Donnie Wahlberg. He was the one thing I remember him in was in fucking The Sixth Sense as the kid. That's the guy that did he kill himself at the beginning of the movie? It was his patient, right?
No, I mean he's Donnie Wahlberg. I would say
he was also in
Saw. He's in Saw. Yeah, that's right.
He was in Saw. He's in Blue Bloods.
Oh right, he is in that. And
yeah,
CBS Shenanigans.
Yeah, so he's had a pretty successful acting career, and then of course he's married
than his fucking brother, which is bizarre because his brother's the movie star, which is
right.
Okay.
Then of course Donnie Wahlberg is married to known idiot Jenny McCarthy, so can't win them all.
No. She still not believe in vaccines.
I don't know.
Pretty sure that
nonsense.
I don't fucking know. If your favorite new kid is Donnie Wahlberg, I think less of you. That's where I'm at right now.
This question was about WWE.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I answered. I think they're gonna have a
market collapse,
mid-2000s lull, maybe worse because.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have a lull. I don't think you're gonna have a collapse, but a lull, I wouldn't be surprised.
They keep fucking with people's money, man, making people spend all this. Well, first of all, I don't know how the fuck people spend so much money. That's
on wrestling.
They're getting the boxing crowd, like you said, Brad. They're getting those people that are willing to pay an exorbitant amount of money for fucking boxing tickets.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's not what WWE is. But anyway, next question.
Yeah, I mean,
no, it's not.
You know,
no,
it's, either way you're paying money
what to become. But like,
well, either way you're paying money for worked fights. So you know, it's all six in one hand, half dozen in the other. So
yes, touche.
CCat asks, are there any upcoming releases, games, books, albums, etc. That you're looking forward to? So many. So.
Has anyone been keeping an eye on Crimson Desert?
Nope.
It looks very good. I'm worried
I don't believe it. I don't trust it, but like I want to.
Yeah.
But I don't.
I'll tell you what, I am encouraged at least by the fact that they are not scoping that out to be an MMO like Black Desert was. Like if they're trying to keep that to be a single player RPG,
just whatever the fuck going on. And people have gotten their hands on it on like probably very powerful PCs.
Sure.
So I don't know what is going to
my concern with that game would be too much sizzle, not enough.
Yeah, right. That's my thing. I'm like, it looks too good to be true, but people that have played it are saying like, no, you can really. I was sold on the combat system, right? I'm like, this combat system is like it's basically like a fighting game combat system. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff wrapped around it. But I still, it looks amazing, but I don't trust it. I'm gonna wait for reviews. That's pretty much all.
Slay the Spire 2 is coming out March 5th. That's gonna be a fucking problem for me. Also, Forza Horizon 6. Getting pretty excited about that.
Actually, that Castlevania game, I forgot.
Yeah,
I don't know when it comes out, but like,
we don't know when
that comes out. Fucking Dead Cells is just an excellent game, and it's by the same people. So, and it looks really good.
Big ones for me are Pokemon Pokopia and Monster Hunter Stories 3.
Yep. So,
speaking of Pokemon.
Yeah, speaking of Pokemon, Cam asks $20 each for Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green so they can be used with Pokemon Home versus keeping them locked behind the NSO paywall. A good idea or a bad idea? Now, before you answer, Carrie, because I know you have opinions here, I was under the impression that they are not going to be compatible.
They are.
They are. Okay.
They are. Okay. They've explicitly said they are.
Okay.
So they announced a few days ago, a week ahead of the Pokemon 30th anniversary date, which is this Friday to the 27th. They were like, hey, guess what? Here's Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green playable on Switch, but not through Nintendo Switch Online, of which you would need the expansion pass in order to access, as the Game Boy Advance titles are locked behind the expansion pass for NSO. And they're $20 each. And people shit their pants about the price a little bit. And I can kind of see all angles here, because I also think it probably should have been $15 tops for an older Game Boy Advance game. But beyond that, a lot of people were also immediately wondering why it just wasn't included in NSO. And I think the big reason for it being kind of a standalone single purchase download is because of the home compatibility. Because in order to basically, like, the stuff within NSO is essential, it's like a
they're emulators.
They're ROMs running on emulators within your system. And NSO also allows for things like, rewinding and stuff like that. And so for those games to be put on NSO in the way that presumably Nintendo and Game Freak want them to be played, they would have had to do really extensive coding to be able to make Pokemon Home work with the Game Boy Advance emulation within NSO. And then they would have had to have disabled certain features within the emulator for 2 specific games. And I do not pretend to be a programmer. I don't know dick about any of that. But I imagine that it would have been a much heavier coding lift to get those games to work the way that they wanted them to, with home compatibility and trading and stuff like that within NSO, than if they just released them separately. So I'm not upset that they're outside of NSO. I'm also not too cheesed off about the price. Again, I do think it probably should have been like a $14.99 kind of purchase max. But these games in their physical format are like $200 cartridges at this point, in the same way that a lot of the older Pokemon games are very pricey cartridges. And there's a big problem with the Game Boy Advance games in particular of counterfeit cartridges being sold at exorbitant prices. So when you have kind of your 3 total options for playing Fire Red and Leaf Green, which are either you emulate it on a PC or on some other cracked handheld console. You take your chance buying a very expensive physical cart if you don't already own one that may or may not even be real, or you pay $20 to play an official version on the Switch that allows you to have Pokemon Home integration and trading and battling with your friends online. It doesn't seem terrible. It's not. It doesn't seem all that bad to me. I think it probably could have. People would be bitching less if it was a $15 price tag rather than a $20 price tag. But if it kind of lets you play the game that it would have been able to have been played 20 years ago, but without the hefty price tag and requirement for you to have like a functioning Game Boy Advance right now, then I think it's fine.
Is it 15 for both, or 20 for both, or 20 for each?
20 for each. Yeah. So
I think if you're charging 20 for both, I think that's a bit more palatable.
I think it probably should have been, 15 each and maybe 25 for both. But yeah, it is what it is. I'll probably download one or the other just to have like a plain game to have. I haven't played Fire Red or Leaf Green, I think, since those games came out. So I kind of want to revisit that, that'd be fun.
All right. Yeah, 20 each seems incredible. Incredibly high.
Yeah.
For that. Again, 20 for both, I get it. But yeah, 20 for each is a bit much, I feel. So
that's it. Yeah.
Film Wanderer asks, what snacks are we bringing to the Xbox's funeral? I don't know what snacks I'll bring, but whatever snacks I do bring, they're definitely going to fit inside my Xbox Series X refrigerator.
Wrap snacks. Some Wrap Snacks chips. They're very good.
I'm gonna go with a movie size box of Whoppers malted milk balls.
Seeka asks, if a game was not originally on your radar, what factors contribute to you purchasing it?
Price. That's it.
There's a combination of a lot of factors for me. Buzz is a big one. Like if I hear a lot of folks whose opinions I gel with talking about something that I was unaware of, I'm gonna be more willing to give it a look. As Terrence said, price. There's a lot of games that I would not be willing to pay $60 for that I sure as hell would be willing to pay $20 for. That happens. Steam reviews, or at least the collective Steam percentage, is also a pretty quick and dirty barometer of a game's efficacy, because Steam, it's really just a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Like, it's not like a fucking star rating. You just say yay or nay, and then you could type out a review below. And if I see a game has a lot of like mixed or slightly positive reviews, like, I then will go down and look at specifically the negative reviews to kind of get a sense for like what's driving that number down a little bit, to see if that's something that would be a deal breaker or not for me. If it is a game that I'm more interested in, obviously if it's a game I'm not interested in, if I see a mixed review, I'm just gonna keep walking. But yeah, a lot of that, and I will say, like, the other thing Steam also I think does pretty well is because they have like their tagging, that they have the tagging system that they have with a lot of games. Their recommendation algorithms are actually pretty decent. Like, if you go into the discovery queue and stuff like that, you might find some stuff that might have slipped past you that might actually be up your alley, just because they are basing it off of stuff that you've played in the past and that other players have liked that have played these games as well. So combination of a lot of things. Price is definitely a big one though, because again, there's a lot of games that, when they first come out, I'm just like, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be into this at that price. And then later on, when it goes on sale, you're just like, oh, I'll definitely pay that price. So
I saw a story online. I saw a story earlier today, actually, that the price of GTA 6 may have possibly leaked.
Is it 90?
It's $99. Is what
Bitch, I'm not fucking buying that.
Y'all niggas are wilding.
Were you ever going to?
But
me?
Of course,
hey, you.
I mean, I might have. I played 5.
When did you
all the way through?
All the way through? No, I don't think so.
GTA Online.
I mean, I didn't fuck with GTA Online, no. But like, no, like I played that game shortly after it came out.
Here's the thing: I've played every GTA game except for like Chinatown Wars. I never finished Chinatown Wars. I'm talking about going all the way back to like the PlayStation, GTA 1, 2, GTA fucking England or whatever the fuck, Europe, whatever it was. But yeah, it'd be a cold day in hell before I pay $100 for a game. I don't give a fuck what it is. That's crazy.
Nah, I'm not
but
doing
like
that.
people are gonna,
It'll trust me.
gonna sell.
If that even if it is $100, that price point will deter absolutely nobody.
Yeah, I know.
It in the first place. So
People are sheep. I get it. It's kind of gonna be pretty good, but no, man, not $100.
Games that have not originally been on my radar, but that I end up playing and really enjoying. Such games have included things that have permanently altered my brain chemistry, like Paradise Killer and Hades. So it's generally been the music has been a big leading factor, honestly, in both of those cases and in several others. Where like if I hear the soundtrack and I go, "Oh, this fucks," then I'll probably at least check the game out a little bit. And then buzz, especially as Brad said, from people whose opinions I like have some degree of trust in, and I know that they don't have absolutely dog shit taste. I'll probably give something a shot. But yeah, I mean, if a game has a good soundtrack and I otherwise haven't really heard of it, I'll probably check it out.
Yeah. And again, I feel like every year we get at least two of these games that just kind of someone finds them and they tell two guys and they tell two guys like you get that effect like for I think last year or it might have been 2 years ago. Fuck, time is a flat circle. The last one that I distinctly remember was like Balatro when Balatro first came out. Like it kind of just snuck in there. And I distinctly remember the person that I heard talk about it was Janichoa on Giant Bomb, and he was like, "Oh, he's like, this game is fine, it's fucking sick." And then like I played the demo, I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, look, "This is bad."
Even Michael played that shit.
Yeah, it's because I kept fucking talking about it, and I wore him down. That would be Micah's answer. Like if Brad specifically wears my ass out about it, eventually I will check it out. And or actually, we're in the case of last year, me and Terrence, because we got him into ball pit, and that was his number 4 game.
Yeah,
last year.
I still need to play the update for that.
Yeah, it's good shit.
You have to jump on there.
Yeah. And finally, T-Wash asks, what media predicted the future most accurately to you? For me, Metal Gear Solid 2 was scarily accurate. He's right. It was, despite the fact that at the time we're just like, man, what is Kojima on?
He's on some shit.
Yeah.
At this point,
Final Fantasy VII has become more and more prescient as the years have gone on.
So who's the Shinra Corporation?
Just
Amazon.
Like all of them. just the collective of all corporations.
Yeah.
Just represented in one mega corporation in Final Fantasy, just destroying the planet for the right now it's all the AI companies. There are the Shinra Corporation.
Like literally any cyberpunk story. Like at this point.
Yeah.
Right? Just any of them.
Yeah. No, I mean,
except in this tech dystopia, I don't get like cool implants.
Yeah,
or
don't get them yet.
or like a sexy motorcycle. I just get bullshit taxes and higher utility rates.
I want a bionic hip. I want a bionic leg. I want to be able to jump really high.
I was gonna say, like, there are a lot of people out there with bionic hips already, but like they're not super happy about it. So
they can't jump really high yet. That's the problem. They can't jump at all because the hips fucking suck.
Yeah.
But unfortunately.
Try to think of other games story because again, you have to start with games that are like grounded in reality, of course, for the most part. Or well, I guess Final Fantasy technically isn't grounded in reality, but they yet managed to be correct about a lot of things. I mean, but also like anyone paying attention could see the forest even back then.
Yeah.
As far as the danger to the environment that was coming. Yeah, and again, we talked a couple weeks ago about like Death Stranding ended up being oddly prescient. especially right around the time it came out. Unbeknownst to Kojima, I don't think he could have predicted a
There's no
global
way in hell
pandemic.
he
Yeah,
would.
it just so happened.
Unless this motherfucker is a fucking fortune teller and he can see the future, he might. Who knows? He's on something. Like you said, he might be able to see the future, and he just ain't telling us.
What's
really weird,
what was the cyberpunk cop game that he came out with?
Police Knots.
Police Knots. Let's
Back
hope
in
that
90, what was it, like 90,
94? Yeah, something like that. Let's hope that doesn't come to fruition. Would be suboptimal, obviously, but yeah, I mean, Police Knots is basically just a fucking Blade Runner game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
for lack of a better term. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Terrence is spot on though. Any cyberpunk, or Terrence or Carrie said that.
Terrence said that.
Terrence said, yeah.
I won't take credit for that.
Any cyberpunk media has unfortunately just been a pretty accurate. Like we are heading headlong towards the 6 or 7 mega corporation future.
And the funny thing about that is, like, the dorks that are running these fucking mega corporations probably fucking read cyberpunk shit when they were growing up.
Right, but
these are all the people who watch fucking Star Wars and don't understand that they are the Empire.
Yeah.
Like, no media literacy, no reading comprehension whatsoever in this fucking country.
But they just want to be the powerful, like, rulers. They just want all the money and just be able to just do whatever the fuck they want. That's what they took from it. They were bullied as children. And
well, maybe someone should have bullied a few of them fucking harder.
And they should have been punched in the face a little bit more. Or maybe they were punched in the face too much, and then they who knows? I mean, they're in their 50s and shit like that now, so they were, they were solidly in that, like, 80s, like, Stephen King bully psychopaths that he has in his fucking movies.
Oh, you know what? We're missing the obvious one. Simpsons keeps being correct over.
Yeah, they always guess, like, specific moments, right?
Yeah.
But
again,
future.
Unintentionally, like theirs is just, man, this would be funny. Like if this were to happen, not like, thinking that
it's not funny anymore. Like, stop it. If somebody was like, everything is unprecedented. Like, I want to be in precedented times.
Yes.
Again, so
what did I say? Like I wish that I could beat the guy who said that may you always live in interesting times. Just beat the living shit out of him constantly.
I wanted interesting times, not perpetually unprecedented times.
Yeah.
I just wanted the shit to be boring at this point.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice
if
we could ever get back to that? So,
on that note,
that's a podcast right there. So
it's too long. Pause.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, Xbox, we'll see. Sony, stop being stupid.
We'll see what happens within the next week. We got a Pokemon Presents happening this week.
We do have a Pokemon Presents, so we'll
have
be
something
back to talk about that
next
week.
Enormously underwhelming to discuss next week.
You don't think there'll be an announcement of the next gen?
I expect nothing.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, and as they say, if you expect nothing, you will never
be disappointed.
So, on that note, thank you very much for watching and listening, and we will see you all the next time.
Take it easy.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.